Mark Donfried, Director of the Institute for Culture Diplomacy. The International Museum on Culture Diplomacy in the USA is trying to look at primarily how is the United States presented abroad, the United States perceived abroad, the reality. That's where there's a huge potential for culture diplomacy to make contributions, to try to educate, enhance, and sustain relations, to better understand America. I apologize to defend anything, not to do propaganda. Fuller the strengths, of the weaknesses, of the and the failures. And I think it's a vital time for the United States to evaluate issues. Cold War was a high point where the U.S. was very active in diplomacy, what they called winning the hearts and minds of foreign audiences. I believe that today this priority of diplomacy is just as necessary, however a somewhat different take, not necessarily the hearts and minds of foreign audiences, but listening as opposed to speaking, how really the USA into other parts as well. And that's where we're very excited throughout the framework of this event in Washington, D.C., in and in New York, to evaluate these issues. What contributions can civil society, what contributions can the private sector make? What contributions can the public sector continue? And these are some of the issues we've been debating in terms of opportunities as well as challenges for the United States. Now, I think the power of partnership is vital. We look forward to also continuing other NGOs in Turkey. And I think diplomacy can, and also in terms of fighting extremism, more difficult for the extremists. Culture diplomacy is, the more it is, it's harder for me to convince you of ideology. The more informed you are Jews about Christians, it's a huge opportunity where culture diplomacy won't end terror and extremism. It'll make it more for the next extremist to actually accomplish their missions. And that's a contribution. Of course, it can't stay at the high level. This event was nations, with of state ambassadors, etc., to really come to the civil society level. So in terms of my where this comes in the future, let's actually touch the private citizens. There's the schools. Let's get out of the USA and let's go to Oklahoma. Let's go to Texas. Let's go to California. Let's go to the 80% of Americans who have passports involved in discussions. Our interest is not just America. That happens to be the top based here around the world. You were saying it's important that these religions come together, much more in common apart. What is usually perceived in the media. And I think that's, again, where you should do more. And let's focus on the and get constructive solutions to work together as destructive solutions tearing us apart. Well, in 5 or 10 years, if you and I were to sit down here once again and realize that we need it, actually achieve that goal. So let's work as hard as we can to accomplish it. Next week we're with the president of Croatia in Zagreb for a big event looking at diplomacy in Southeastern Europe. Then we're in Montenegro with judiciary, foreign affairs, justice, president of the Supreme Court, and the president. Then we have an event 3 weeks from now in Spain, the conflict. So it's a very usual. We're going to continue throughout the summer. Try to make contributions to help educate, enhance, and sustain relations around the world.